Okay, let's unpack this. For months, we've been diving into games defined by, well, grim realism, high-fidelity graphics.
Yeah, hyper-realistic flight sims, hardcore sci-fi RPGs, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And now
Yeah.
we are pivoting to analyze maybe the most unlikely viral success story of the year, Escape from Duckov.
Yes, you heard that right. We're talking cartoon ducks.
Huh?
Top-down tactical shooting and the hyper-lethal, high-stakes mechanics of an extraction shooter.
All mashed together somehow.
Right, into this cohesive but, yeah, totally bizarre package.
And look, this isn't some small, niche, indie thing that a few people found. This is a genuine phenomenon, commercially and critically.
Absolutely.
Our source material paints this picture of just immediate, stunning success. We're talking, what, over 500,000 copies sold?
In the first few days on sale, it just exploded.
And it hit a peak of over 173,000 concurrent players. For a moment there, it was the 6th most played game on all of Steam.
Which is nuts, and what makes those numbers even more shocking, I think, is the critical response.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
Despite basically lifting the unforgiving systems from its inspiration, Duckov is sitting at overwhelmingly positive on Steam.
Like 94% to 96% positive reviews. It's incredible.
So our mission today, essentially, is to figure out this central paradox. How did this small team, Team Soda, take a genre known for punishment and dread,
Right.
slap a feathery cartoon skin on it, and create something that reviewers are calling plain all-around great?
Especially when, as we'll get into, it seems to have imported some pretty well-known flaws from its inspiration.
Exactly. It's that core conflict, that bizarre juxtaposition you mentioned.
You've got these adorable waddling little ducks, but they're carrying meticulously detailed, realistic AK-47s, MP7s.
And using them for brutally efficient combat, it shouldn't work on paper.
But it does. And the reason it does, according to almost every source we looked at, comes down to one massive design decision.
Which it is.
This is a single-player, PvE-only extraction shooter.
Okay. That's the key takeaway. That's the crucial differentiator.
The sources really stress this. Removing the competitive player versus player, that's the engine of its success.
It basically fills a void, right? Players of games like Tarkov have apparently been asking for this forever.
They love the loop at pour, the intense resource management, the risk-reward.
But they want the adrenaline of the genre without the PvP frustration. That's a quote I saw pop up a lot.
Exactly. When you remove that pressure, that unpredictable human element,
You fundamentally change the tension. It lets people, play at their own pace.
they're not going to get instantly flattened because some super geared pro player just, quote, sniped you from a bush 300 meters away.
Right. That specific kind of frustration is just gone.
Okay, but hang on. Let me push back a bit here. Isn't the whole point of an extraction shooter that looming dread, that psychological tension? Knowing the biggest threat isn't the AI, it's someone smarter, maybe sneakier, definitely better armed. If you take that away, aren't you just left with a slightly harder loot simulator?
That's a really fair question. But what the sources seem to suggest is that for a huge chunk of the audience, the answer is yes. They wanted the simulator part.
Oh, right.
They wanted the loop. Go out, find stuff, bring it back, upgrade the base, upgrade the character. And for them, the frustration of losing hours of progress to some unseen player?
It just outweighs the thrill of the competition.
Apparently so. For this audience, at least.
So the appeal isn't just, like, less stress. It's that the resource management, the base building, those become the central rewarding mechanics. And maybe they shine better against predictable AI.
Precisely. And the game's perspective actually supports this too. It's top-down tactical.
Right, not first person.
Which reviewers compared to the intensity, the sort of split-second brutality of something like Hotline Miami.
Wow, okay. High praise.
But mixed with genuine tactical elements. Death is quick, it's unceremonious, it maintains that lethality. But the AI, even if it's solid AI,
it's learnable. You can master the systems, the environment, without that completely random human factor.
Exactly. And that tactical intensity is just constantly, beautifully undercut by the humor.
Ah, yes, the ducks.
Team Soda intentionally leans into how absurd it all is.
I love that anecdote about meeting the muscular duck, the one with the six-pack.
Oh, yeah. Asking you to collect eggs for his protein shakes or whatever.
That image alone just sells the whole weird concept.
It just refuses to take itself too seriously, and that lighthearted tone is critical. It provides chuckles and smiles.
Creates a chill atmosphere mixed with danger. as one review put it.
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. The second you stop laughing at the fact you're a duck with an AK.
Bam! You realize you're dealing with some pretty serious, highly tuned survival mechanics underneath.
Which perfectly sets up the gameplay loop, doesn't it? Because the game needs depth if it's going to sustain people for, well, potentially hundreds of hours.
Right. Let's talk about that progression. How does it hook you?
So the journey starts pretty fun. You get a character creator basically hatching from an egg. Then you escape some kind of lab. You get access to your home base, your hideout. And that's where you get your quests, your marching orders.
And the hideout itself is interesting. Sources say it's not just a menu screen, right?
Not at all. It's a physical, actual bunker that you expand over time. You have to actively build and customize it with resources you find out in the world.
So you're placing workbenches, kitchens, storage, stations for NPC vendors.
Exactly. Weapons dealers, armor guys, a trainer, it's all physicalized.
That seems crucial. It makes the upgrades feel tangible, earned.
And more importantly, it makes even junk matter. That's another quote that resonated.
Ah, the magic of deep crafting systems, that random bent spoon you find.
Might be exactly what you need later to craft a specific scope mount or something.
It gives value to everything you pick up, drives that core loop.
Absolutely. And the permanent progression stacks up in multiple ways, too. You've got character skill trees.
Improving things like stamina, carry weight, reload speed, perception range, stuff that sticks with you.
Yeah, skills that survive death. That's your permanent character growth.
And then there's the gear itself. Reviewers seem to love the customization. Someone called it miniaturized tactical Barbie.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There are over 50 weapons, apparently, with a well-selected collection of attachments.
So it scratches that specific gun nut itch the genre attracts.
Definitely. It lets you build something really custom, tune it just right, but maybe without going completely overboard into, like, spreadsheet territory.
A good balance between complexity and actually being fun.
Seems like it. Now let's talk about the real stress test for any extraction game. What happens when you die?
Okay, standard fare, you drop all your gear, right?
Yep, everything you brought in or found. But the way recovery works is what really softens the blow compared to the genre norm.
So the difference is your body actually stays there in the map.
Exactly. And you get one chance to make a recovery run to get your stuff back.
Okay, so that creates its own specific tension.
For sure. The reviews say the tension is real and it kicks in early on that recovery run. You really don't want to mess it up.
But it's not that instant crushing loss of potentially hours of work.
Right. If you die again on the way to your body, then yeah, the original loot is gone for good. But having that one shot.
That's the safety net that makes it more palatable for a wider audience, probably.
I think so. And for folks who still find that too much, the game offers another out.
Yeah.
You can change the difficulty.
Oh, anytime. Back in the hideout.
Yep. Highly customizable. Really reinforces that PvE first approach.
Okay, so that leads naturally into the combat itself. Despite the forgiving structure, you're saying it's still pretty unforgiving moment to moment.
Yeah, even on standard difficulty, largely because of that top-down perspective.
Line of sight becomes key, right?
Yeah.
You literally can't see behind you.
Exactly. And the AI, which the sources describe as solid, they flank, they patrol smartly, they will use your blind spots.
Makes combat fast, brutal, potentially very lethal if you're not careful.
And because it's so tight, sound design becomes absolutely critical.
You have to rely on audio cues.
Massively. Apparently, different enemy types have unique quacks and footsteps.
Seriously? Unique quacks?
Yeah. Like, you can tell a basic scavenger duck from a tougher mercenary duck just by the sound they make.
That's amazing. And it gives you a few seconds to react before they round a corner.
Precisely. And you've got light survival elements, too. Hunger, thirst, bleeding.
But handled lightly. Not super annoying.
Seems like it. They add friction without being annoying, tying back into preparing properly before a run. You won't suddenly starve mid-fight, but ignoring a bleed could be fatal.
Gotcha. Adds to the tactical layer.
And Team Soda ramps up the danger with dynamic events, too. Nighttime maps are much harder.
More enemies, tougher enemies, less visibility.
Check, check, check. But the biggest danger, and maybe the biggest draw for high-risk players, is the storm.
Ah, yes, the storm shows up periodically.
Every 210 in-game hours, apparently. And if you're caught out unprepared, it just disintegrates your duck.
Ouch. But it offers high-risk, high-reward loot for those brave enough.
That's the idea, a big challenge event.
And visually, orally, it sounds like it's pretty polished.
Very. The feathery art is the main selling point aesthetically, and the consensus is Team Soda nails this.
And the guns sound good. That's important.
Essentially, yeah. They sound great. And the hideout audio, you mentioned this earlier, that delicious jazzy soundtrack.
The lo-fi relaxation mix you could change with a gramophone.
Yeah. It's such a perfect contrast to the tension outside. Really smart touch.
Technically strong, too, it sounds like. Steam Workshop support.
Full Steam Workshop support, yeah. Huge for longevity. Players can make weapons, quests, maps.
People already talk about co-op mods, right?
Definitely desired, maybe even in development. That would be massive.
And Steam Deck. Playable. Playable, yeah.
Yeah.
Stable 45 FPS possible on low settings. But, and this is a big, but no native controller support.
Oof, so you're stuck with WASD and mouse emulation on the deck. Pretty much. Makes the handheld experience way less smooth than it could be. It's a significant drawback.
Okay, so now we get to segment 4. And this feels like where the critical consensus kind of flips, right?
Yeah, for all its polish and the genius of the PvE focus, the game apparently has one massive failing.
The grind, the pacing.
Exactly. Which directly ties back to what some call the sins of the father, the questionable design choices it inherited from Tarkov.
The progression is just slow.
It's described as extremely slow. We're looking at maybe 60 to 80 hours just for the main story quests.
Wow.
And a completionist run, estimated around 200 hours.
Okay.
And the core argument here is that the game overstays its welcome because the PvE focus, while it removes the stress,
It also removes that urgent adrenaline, that pressure that forces faster pacing in the competitive games.
Right, and the place gets sabotaged even further by a heavy reliance on RNG.
Random number generation for quest items, like finding specific things.
Yeah, you're forced to run the same maps over and over, just hoping for that lucky drop a specific component, a certain key.
Making even trying to speed run feel like a dice roll, as one source put it.
But the really fatal flaw, according to many critics, is the quest design itself.
This is where it directly copied Escape from Tarkov's homework, and maybe shouldn't have.
That's the absolute core of the negative feedback. Tarkov's quest design is notorious for being, well,
Repetitive, unimaginative fetch quests and abject nonsense, I think was the quote.
that's the one. And the sources argue this design is Duckov's undoing because it just clashes so badly with the otherwise great progression and base building.
It's the contrast, right? You spend ages carefully modding your gun,
Balancing the recoil, the weight, making it perfect.
and then the game gives you a quest like, shoot 7 ducks in the left leg from over 20 meters away using this specific terrible rifle.
Exactly. Those kinds of artificial tasks, the ones that force you to play in weird, tedious, counterintuitive ways.
They just cheapen the whole experience. They feel like padding, not like a real test of skill.
They exist just to stretch out the playtime, basically.
And the map design gets criticized too, for helping that tedium along.
Yeah, through funneling and just emptiness. The space between the main points of interest is apparently just empty.
No reason to stop, explore, no little environmental details.
Very little, it seems. A remarkable lack of environmental storytelling compared to its inspiration, which can be quite rich in that regard.
So it makes the grind feel worse because you're just running across empty space to the next arbitrary quest marker.
Pretty much. Which leads to that really sharp final verdict from some critics.
The game is hampered because it was inspired by a title, Tarkov, that, in their view,
Is fundamentally a bad game that somehow works in spite of its design, not because of it.
ouch. And Duckov copied the bad design parts.
While removing the one thing, that intense PvP fear that maybe made the bad design somewhat tolerable in the original.
It's such a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Totally. Escape from Duckov is undeniably a huge success. It's polished, it nails the PvE extraction loop, the aesthetic, the progression.
Offers great value, seems like a perfect entry point for newcomers because it removes that crushing PvP stress.
Absolutely. But that success comes despite inheriting this tedious grind and nonsensical quest design from its inspiration.
So the lesson here seems crystal clear, and the fails numbers back it up. There is massive, untapped demand for PvE-focused extraction gameplay.
This game basically proved that the mechanics, the looting, the customizing, the base building, the risk-reward are addictive on their own, separate from the hardcore competition.
And if Escape from Duckov, this relatively small, simple top-down game with cartoon ducks, can achieve this level of success just by focusing on those core satisfying mechanics and ditching the PvP.
Then you have to ask, right?
Yeah, what fundamental elements of other successful but often frustrating competitive genres might be ripe for the same treatment?
Like hardcore survival games, high-stakes looter shooters, even battle royales.
Could we see simpler, PvE-focused, single-player parody versions of those taking off? If the future of hardcore gaming, weirdly enough, is in the hands of these softcore parodists, what's next?
What familiar genre is going to get the low-stress, high-satisfaction duck treatment next?
Something to think about.